There are keys for accessing and utilizing power to its fullest. The first key, you must identify and connect to the source of all power. Luke chapter 10 and verse 19, it said, behold, I give unto you power. And who gives power? In this case, God represented, I give unto you power to tread upon serpents, scorpions, and then he says, over all the power. So Satan has power. And I hope I have the time to explain to you how that came about. He has capacity to influence outcomes. Ask Jannes and Jambres. Ask those who are occultists. They manipulate spiritual laws. And let me digress for a moment to help us understand this. In discussing the power of God, classically speaking, there are three levels. God stored his power at three levels. The highest level for accessing spiritual power is through intimacy with God. The highest dimension of spiritual power that can come into a believer's life is accessed through intimacy. The second level of spiritual power is accessed through the understanding and adherence to laws, not just spiritual laws, laws and principles generally. There is a dimension of the deposit of God's power that is in laws. The law of gravity, the law of aerodynamics, the law of seed time and harvest. And this dimension of God's power does not depend on knowing him. It does not depend on acknowledging his lordship. It is purely a product of understanding and application. So the next time you say, why are people prospering without God? It is because they have mastered how to tap into this second layer of God's power. It is not relationship dependent. It's not the highest level of power, but if you ever see it produce, it's because the power of God is behind it. This is also the realm that occultists and all kinds of people, they manipulate these laws. Job 38:33 NLT. Do you know the laws of the universe, or do you know the laws of the heavens? It says, canst thou establish God's dominion? NLT says, do you know the laws of the universe? Can you use them to regulate the earth? How do you regulate the earth? By using the laws. Now the third level of power comes through covenant alignment. You don't need to know God, you don't need to understand the laws of the kingdom, but you can become a beneficiary of the spiritual atmosphere of one who understands that law and is engaging it. An example of such we see is Lot's prospering. You see that Lot's prosperity had nothing to do with wisdom. Classically speaking, wealth is connected to wisdom, but we don't find Lot behaving as a wise man. He only followed Abraham, but everything Abraham had, Lot had. And when they separated, the first decision Lot made landed him in Sodom and Gomorrah.